Alright, hello everybody, welcome to our next lesson here. This is Corruption and Robber Barons. This is for our unit Industrialization again. Objectives and Standards. You will be able to explain the corruption that occurred by railroad owners, and you will be able to identify the term robber barons. Take a moment there to look over the standards if you would please. And our desired result. What corruption occurred by railroad companies? Be thinking about some of the things that railroad companies and railroad owners are doing that are kind of illegal. Alright, so becoming rich. Entrepreneurs in the railroad became very rich in the late 1800s. And because of this, some began to accuse them, the people who owned the railroads and were in charge of the railroads, of cheating investors and taxpayers and using bribes. Now, one of the most famous ones, or one of the most well-known ones, is Jay Gould. Okay, again, perhaps the most well-known dishonest railroad owner, practiced insider trading and controlled stock prices. Now, because Congress was involved with helping to build the railroad, some railroad officials bribed Congress as well. Some railroad investors could receive more land grants by bribing Congress. So we can see how this corruption is playing out as well. Alright, so scandal in railroads. A construction company, Credit Mobilier, was set up by several stockholders of the Union Pacific Railroad. I believe that's how you pronounce that, Credit Mobilier. Oakes Ames, a congressman who you see there, was a stockholder and sold shares of the Union Pacific Railroad below their market value to other members of Congress. And in 1872, during the election campaign, the New York Sun published a list of members of Congress who bought shares. Many people were angry and called railroad entrepreneurs robber barons. Okay, robber barons, or a robber baron, is a person who loots or steal from an industry and become rich. Sorry about the typo there. So this became known as the Credit Mobilier scandal because of this connection between Congress, or these Congress people, members of Congress, I should say, and the railroad industry. All right, improvements. While the public was angry at robber barons, not all railroad entrepreneurs were corrupt. The Great Northern Railroad was built by James J. Hill, who you see there, the top picture there, top right-hand side. Running from Wisconsin and Minnesota to Washington State, Hill did not use federal lands or money. Okay. The train ran through existing towns and offered low fares to settlers who homesteaded along the route. James J. Hill also identified goods that were in demand in China, such as cotton, textiles, and flour. Textiles is kind of like clothing and things of that nature, and hauled them to Washington to be shipped. Due to his actions, the Great Northern Railroad was not forced to declare bankruptcy like some other railroads were. And down here in the bottom left-hand corner, that's the map that kind of shows you how the Great Northern Railroad ran. Okay, our closure. What corruption occurred by railroad companies? Think about the Credit Mobilier scandal. Think about Jay Gould. Think about some of the other ones, Oakes Ames, and think about even Mr. Hill there, who was not involved in this. But think about some of the corruption that others were using as well, and getting rich off the railroads during this time. All right. Try your best in the questions that follow. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns, and I hope to talk to y'all soon. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.